This is the moment Cade Ural stopped being prey. He just didn't know it yet. Floor 40 of the abyss, deeper than his guild had any right to be. Deeper than anyone came back from. Cade was the party's lowest rank. The one who carried the packs, took the rear, and never got a share worth keeping. He had told himself loyalty would be enough. That if he bled for them long enough, they would make room for him. He was wrong, and the wrongness had a name. Vance Crail. "You've carried us far enough, Cade," Vance said, almost kindly, and shoved the great stone door shut with Cade on the wrong side of it. That was the one who swung, the one who decided. Behind him, a soft-faced diver named Doss looked away, said nothing, did nothing. That was his whole crime, and it was enough. And the woman, Lysae Marrow, she argued, loudly, beautifully, for exactly as long as it took the door to close. That was the one who faked hesitating. The most dangerous of the three. Cade would learn that last. The door boomed shut. The last light went with it. And Cade Ural was alone in the dark, 40 floors down, with the things that lived there. They told the guild he died a hero, lost to a cave-in. They kept his share. They kept his name out of their mouths. They thought that was the end of it. It was not the end. It was the first page. Hours passed, or days. In the lightless deep, there is no difference. Only the cold, the hunger, and the dark pressing on the eyes. He had a little water, no food, a failing glowstone, and 40 floors of monsters between him and a sky he would never see again. He thought about lying down, letting it be quiet. And then he thought about her, Ren Calder, his partner before the guild split them up. The one person topside who would not buy a clean little lie about a cave-in. If he died down here, she would spend years not knowing. He could not do that to her. That was the thought that kept him breathing. Far above, under an open sky, Ren Calder was already refusing to believe. "A cave-in," she said flatly, reading the notice, "on a sealed door floor, with no body, and his whole share already filed to the captain." She did not cry. She started asking questions. The wrong people would soon wish she hadn't. Back in the dark, Cade's dying light finally caught something. 2 points of cold green, low to the ground, watching him. Then more, and then the eyes scattered. Because something far worse had come to claim him first. It uncoiled from the dark like the dark itself had teeth. The divers had a name for it. They only ever whispered. The thing that ate whole parties on the deep floors. The Gaunt. This was why Vance sealed the door here, on this floor. He hadn't just abandoned Cade. He had fed him to it, but the Gaunt was not whole. Cade's party had fought it on the way down and run. It was already wounded, already bleeding from a dozen seams. Not that it mattered. Wounded, it was still a god of the deep. And Cade was a starving man with a knife and no light. It struck. He dove. A fang the length of his arm shattered the rock where he'd stood. It struck again. He was too slow. A feeder tendril caught his leg and slammed him into the ground, driving the air from his lungs. It dragged him toward that ring of fangs. Slow, certain. The way you eat something that cannot fight back. This was the part where prey dies, where the story should have ended. Cade looked into that endless throat and felt the last of his fear burn away. If he was going to be eaten, then so was it. He stopped pulling away, and as the maw closed, he lunged into it. He didn't slay it. He couldn't. He latched onto the wound in its throat as it struck, and he bit down. His teeth found the thing's heart, pulsing, raw, the only soft place in a god of stone and fang. And starving, dying, half-mad in the dark, Cade Ural did the one forbidden thing no diver had ever come back to confess. He ate it. The consumption was the kill. The great body shuddered, stiffened, and went still around him, its light guttering out. For one breath, there was silence. Cade lay in the ruin of the thing that killed him, alive, and did not understand why. Then the heart he had swallowed began to burn. It was not like eating. It was like being eaten from the inside out. The Gaunt's essence poured into his blood and started rewriting what he was, and his body screamed at the edit. When it finally stopped, Cade lay shaking in the dark, and his right hand was no longer entirely his. Claws, black and curved, like the thing he'd eaten. He flexed them and they answered, and that was the most horrifying part. They felt like his, and there was something else now. A new pressure behind his eyes, a second weight in his own skull where no one else should ever be. Then it spoke, not in words at first, in hunger, a vast, patient, ancient hunger that was not his own. "You ate me," the voice said, almost amused. "How rude, and how very, very promising." The Gaunt, not dead, riding in his skull now, patient as stone, hungry as the dark that birthed it. "You should be dead," it told him, conversational. "A creature like you, in a place like this. You survived by becoming a little more like me. You'll need to do that again, and again." "Why would you help me?" Cade rasped. The thing in his skull seemed to smile, though it had no mouth he could see. "Because we want the same thing, little ghost," it said. "To get stronger, to not be eaten, to climb out of the dark." It was telling the truth. It was simply not telling all of it. What it did not say was that it had died down here for a reason, that it had been hunting something at the very bottom when Cade's party put a wound in it. What it did not say was that to finish that hunt, it would need a body. And Cade's was right there, warm, willing, climbing the wrong way. But that was a problem for later. For now, the voice was right about one thing: to live. Cade had to get stronger, and he had just learned how. He understood the rule now, written into his changed blood: consume a creature's heart, and you take a piece of what it was. But the dark had already taught him the cost. He looked at his clawed hand and tried to remember the last face he loved, and for one cold instant, he couldn't. Her name he kept, her face for that moment, the Gaunt had quietly eaten. It came back, but he had felt it go. That was the price. Every piece of monster he took would cost him a piece of the man. The meter had started, and it only ran one way. "It bothers you," the Gaunt observed, interested. "The forgetting. Good. Keep it. Whatever's left of your softness will keep you sane a little longer." Above, in an office she had no permission to be in, Wren Calder found the first thread of the lie. The party's logged route stopped at a sealed door on floor 40, but the door's seal record showed it was locked from the outside. "You don't seal a cave-in from outside. You left him," she breathed, "to an empty room. You didn't lose him. You left him." She did not yet know he was alive. She only knew the truth was filthy. Far below her feet, the man she was fighting for was learning to hunt in the dark. The Gaunt's gift was more than claws. Cade could feel the deep now, the warmth of living things, the cold of stone, the texture of the dark itself. And he could feel, 3 turns ahead, something small and vicious feeding on something smaller, a lesser horror of the deep. "Prey. There," purred the voice. "You're hungry. I can feel it." Not for food. For more. Cade hated that it was right. He was hungry for it. The promise of more. He told himself it was survival. He was already lying to himself the way the Gaunt lied to him. He stalked it the way the Gaunt's instincts taught him. Low. Silent. Patient. A man wearing a predator's reflexes like a borrowed coat. It never hurt him. His new claws found its throat, and his teeth found its core, and he took it. Cleaner this time, more certain. The change came faster, smaller, easier. A second graft, the black hide of the thing spreading in patches across his shoulder, turning blades. And the cost came with it, quiet as ever. This time, he reached for the sound of Wren's laugh, and found only the shape of it, the warmth gone out. 2 feasts. 2 pieces of monster gained. 2 pieces of the man, quietly gone. He was getting stronger. He was getting less. "You're doing well," the Gaunt said warmly. Too warmly. "Keep climbing. Keep eating. We'll be unstoppable together." Climbing. That word stuck, because the Gaunt kept saying, "Climb." And yet every time Cade reached for the way up, the voice grew faintly, patiently, restless. Cade Yorl had survived 2 lifetimes worth of being underestimated by trusting no one completely. He was not about to start with a monster in his skull. He pushed on, upward, through the black floors, eating only what he had to, hoarding what was left of himself like the last coins in a dying purse, and the deeper truth of his second life began to take shape. He was not just trying to survive, he had 3 names to carry back into the light. Vance Crail, who swung the door, Doss, who watched, Lysy Marrow, who lied so beautifully he would not forget them, even as he forgot so much else. Revenge, the Gaunt mused, reading him. How small, how human. I can work with small and human. For now, after what might have been days, Cade climbed onto a wide, shattered ledge and felt, for the first time, the faintest breath of moving air. Real air. From above, a way up, a real one. Somewhere above this ledge, the abyss connected back to the climb floors, to the guild routes, to the surface, to her, to them. For the first time since the door closed, Cade Yorl let himself believe he might climb out of the dark. And the moment he turned toward the way up, the Gaunt, for the first time, pulled the other way. Not yet, it murmured. And it turned his gaze, gently, downward, to the black depths he had just escaped. There is something below worth far more than 3 small men above. What's down there? Cade asked, and the dark did not answer, and the thing in his skull only smiled its mouthless smile. 2 paths now. Up, into the light, toward the woman who hadn't given up on him, and the 3 who had. Down, into the dark, toward whatever the monster in his head was steering him to. He would climb. Of course he would climb. He had names to collect and a woman to reach, but the Gaunt was patient. The Gaunt could wait. After all, it was riding in his skull. And every floor he climbed, it would whisper. And every monster he ate to climb it, he would become a little more its kind. Far above, Ren Calder folded a stolen divelog into her jacket and walked into the captain's own guild hall to start asking dangerous questions to dangerous faces. She had no idea the man she was avenging was climbing toward her with a monster's claws and a dead god in his head. They would not recognize each other. Not at first. They sealed Cade Yorl in the dark to die. They were wrong about the dying. They were wrong about everything. The hunters had made themselves a predator, and he was climbing out of the dark to find them. He ate the thing meant to eat him. Now its hunger is his, and the bottom of the abyss is calling, and 3 traitors above are about to learn what crawled back up.